Let's roll. Good evening. Welcome to City Council. Happy everybody's here. Let's go ahead and observe our traditional moment of silent reflection, followed by the pledge, please. Thank you very much. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. This evening, I want to make sure, put this out there, but it's not on the agenda, but there are several property matters that we need to have a conversation about this evening. So at the conclusion of our public portion of the City Council meeting, I'm going to ask for an executive session relative to 3 property matters, so per state code. So please keep that in mind. So let's hope that this part goes quickly. All right. Good evening again. We are happy to have members of our City Fire Department here. I'm going to turn it over to Chief Kimball to talk about a recent award that was bestowed upon our department. Good evening, Chief.
I'd ask all attending members to approach up. And where's John at?
Trying to hide.
John, Joey, and Maria out front, please. And we're missing Ethan Smith tonight. He did attend the activity in Ohio when we went, but he couldn't make it tonight. So, let me get adjusted. It won't sit there. Hold it. It won't sit there. All right. So, as I spoke at the last council meeting, several of us, including the mayor, attended the Fire Expo in Columbus, Ohio in September, where the Buckhannon Fire Department was awarded the Michael McNamee Award of Valor, which recognizes acts of courage and bravery, including both physical acts to rescue a victim in hazardous conditions, as well as critical decisions or preventive actions that ensure civilian or firefighter safety. That's what the award is given for. The definition of a unit is a group of people who work together at a specific job, often in particular places. Okay. The first group, Randy, if you could pull up picture number 1, please.
Bear with me.
Picture number 1. This is about the time the fire department arrived at 172 Buckhannon Street on November 27th. This award that the Buckhannon Fire Department received is given annually at the Firehouse Expo, and we received it in September 27th. Those attending were Mayor Skinner, myself, Captain Baxa, Maria Potter, firefighter paramedic Maria Potter, and Lieutenant Ethan Smith. Lieutenant Brugnoli couldn't attend. Those are the 4 that were on the first engine in. This is what they were faced with. So everybody get a picture of that. Location was 172 Buckhannon Street. The time was 6:50 a.m. As I spoke in December about the incident, we were at a shift change, which was a great time. We had 4. So we actually had 6 people, but 4 on the first engine went out. So the visual there of what they had up against them when they arrived on the scene. As we go on, if you were to remove any one of the 4 that were on that first engine, we probably wouldn't be having this discussion. So that 4, for every task that was needed to be done to rescue that victim, it took those 4 people. Lieutenant Brugnoli, he was the engineer on the fire engine. He operates the pump. He was also throwing ladders. He was also doing walk around and looking to see where there's survivable space in this house until I arrived on scene. Captain Baxa and Lieutenant Smith had made way into the house, backed up by firefighter paramedic Maria Potter with a 2-inch hose. So you can imagine one person on a 2-inch hose facing that, and 2 people without a hose facing that to go rescue somebody. So basically I put this to the high standards of our organization's training standards are very high for this specific reason, to make a difference. Without the culture and the mindset that has been created at the BFD by all members, this positive outcome would not have happened, period. If we weren't doing training on a daily basis and running as a crew and running as a unit, this wouldn't have happened. I'd also like to recognize other members that were not part of the first engine. That would be Captain Lynn Baxa, Captain Brian Elmore, firefighter Justin Boggs, Captain Glenn Davis, firefighter EMT Shane Jenkins, firefighter First Class Steve Michaels, firefighter Maggie Petito, and firefighter Hunter Wilfong. They were there, and additional vehicles that came in as support. So there was 9 additional people there that were there to back up what they were bringing out. If you could go to picture number 2, that is the picture of them bringing the victim out of the house. That's something. So when you realize what they went through to get there and they had to come back through it to come out, that's training and guts. So, and like I've spoke to everybody with cameras. Picture number 3, this is the result.
And we're asking no one to take photos of this.
Yes.
Not to be photos.
Picture number 3, this is happiness. This is what the results of hard work, dedication, and bravery brings back. Getting to see grandbabies. So, it's a wonderful thing. So, I'd also like to recognize other departments that assisted at that call, which was Adrian Fire Department, Elkins Fire Department, Warren District, Washington District, Weston, and Upshur County EMS. And just to end it all out before we show the award, our goals for the future is to continue to establish an atmosphere of very well-trained individuals that continue to meet high standards put forth by their organization. We look forward to completing the training facility with the support of the City Council, so the opportunity to train in live fire scenarios helps improve outcomes like this. Live fire training is where it's at, to where we can learn. We can't hardly learn to fight fires like that in fake smoke. So, we got to move on. We're working on the training facility, and that's our goals. So, that being said, Joe, if you want to step up there and show council the award. This award is an application that was provided to Firehouse Magazine, and they go through and read the narratives and what happened. And
congratulations.
The other fire department in the country that received one was the Los Angeles County Fire Department. So,
Good company.
yes.
Yeah. All right, sir. Thank you.
Any questions?
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you all very much.
Do you want a group picture up
Why don't we get a
here?
group picture?
Yeah, group picture. That'd be great.
Yeah.
I think the group picture, you want to send a picture to every council person. I like to put it up in my camera.
Okay.
I'm serious.
Yeah, you're a military guy.
I like the hats.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
Come on.
I don't want to photobomb anybody.
Okay. All right, we'll take a couple of you.
Sorry, Chief, I'm trumping you.
A little bit this way. Okay, now let's do it. No, hold. All right, 1, 2, 3. One more, 1, 2, 3.
I got it.
Okay.
All right, love it.
All right.
One more. Complete. And here we go. One more. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Great work, guys and gals. Keep it up.
All right.
That's a dangerous occupation.
How is, back, is he recovering slowly?
Yeah.
Is he back full duty or?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He's been back full duty for quite a while.
All right, well, that's good.
Okay, up next, we have Dixie Green, who's joining us on the phone. Dixie, can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you.
Well, good evening to you.
Hello, Dixie.
Good evening.
You want to give us a little season wrap-up update?
Well, that's the update.
It wrapped up, that's good.
We've been picking up baskets and flower planters all week. You've probably seen us out. We'll probably start ripping out the flower beds next week. It's supposed to frost pretty hard Sunday night. And as per usual, we'll start our tree trimming and prepping the beds for next season and getting the greenhouse ready for the winter. And we'll be taking care of the FEMA plots as soon as we have time and the right weather for it.
Have we counted the number of sweet potatoes yet that we harvested?
We are still harvesting them.
Okay.
Don't try to eat them.
Yeah, we've got, oh, I don't even know, maybe the water truckload so far. We're still digging them out.
Okay. Any, I think all the comments this year were very positive. Jawbone Park looked great. Downtown Main Street looked great. The planters, the baskets, River Trail area. So thank you for you and your crew for all of your efforts and for helping making our city look beautiful each and every year. And it's something we're known for, and I don't think that we disappointed this year at all. So.
Well, thank you.
Yep, congratulations, Dixie.
Great job, Dixie, thank you.
All right. Enjoy your evening, Dixie.
You too.
All right. I don't believe we have any other guests that wish to address the council this evening, so we will go toward our Public Works Director. Good evening.
Good evening, all.
Hi, Jerry.
Hello, how are you doing?
Good.
The street department continues to work on the Madison Street lot, and we're finishing up some punch list items in the CAC. Sewer crews excavated the depression area on North Canal and found a broken drainage pipe, and the pipe's been sleeved, and the whole backfill. The street department will be making pavement repairs before winter. Work continues on the Myrna Street project. The street will be repaved also before winter. There continue to be work on the Taylor Street project. The contractor is currently working on a section between Camden and Fayette Streets. Waste collection, just a reminder, this Saturday is a West Virginia Department of Environmental Protection Agency Tire Amnesty Day. So that will be at our shop at 395 Mudlick Road from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So just take it, it's an opportunity, and encourage everyone to take advantage of that. Nothing new on water to report. The engineering report, ARPA, Tennerton Booster Station, Contract A, construction activities are approximately 90% complete. Remaining work cannot be completed until Contract B is completed. Contract B is approximately 20% complete. The piping of the building will begin next week. There's still 4 to 5 month lead time on electrical panel that is required for the building, and Jay anticipates both contract being completed early next spring. FEMA, the Generator Hazard Mitigation Grant 1, Contract 3, construction activities continue for the month. The installation of the generator and the automatic transfer switch will take place on Monday, November 6th at 7 a.m. and will last approximately 24 hours. Punch list items for Contract 1 and 2 are nearly complete, and this grant is expected to be completed and closed out prior to the end of November of 23. ARPA sanitary collection system, again on Taylor Street, just to reiterate where the contractor was between Camden and Fayette Street. Island Avenue, he and Ethan are working on alignments for that's going to be a joint project between water, sewer, and streets department to complete a project over on Island Avenue. And that's all I have, Mayor, unless there's questions.
Any questions or comments for Jerry?
What do we do with the tires?
With the tires, we don't. The state collects them, Pam, and they either shred them or cut them. Usually they use them to recycle in mulch or they landfill them.
Okay, yes. I was told that down in Florida, they take them and melt them down and use it to resurface.
Asphalt things.
Yeah.
They do that. They, a lot of places, they grind them and then remelt them into asphalt base.
Oh, okay. I just wanted-
I think one of the issues with that is if they have steel belts, they can't, you can't melt those.
And this event is, this event is open to the public.
Yes.
Yeah, you don't have to be a customer of the city waste department.
And again, it's conducted by the DEP.
Right.
We just provide the space and we provide some manpower there just to operate the facility.
Yeah.
Do you have restrictions on, say, a tire store that has 400 or 500 tires for the year?
Yes,
And they charge the customers $5 to get rid of them and then give them to you for nothing.
there's a limit of 10 tires,
10?
passenger tires per identification. They want a driver's license for every 10 tires.
And I don't think, and it's for automobiles, truck, normal.
Passenger
Passenger
tires.
vehicles, it's
Yes.
not off commercial.
Trucks.
Right.
Jerry will be hanging around for our executive session tonight too, so.
Jerry, any update on the Capri garage raising or
Got-
Foster jut out, either one of those?
The garage, we've gotten the utilities shut off on, so we'll be taking that down very shortly.
That's great.
No news on the other.
Thanks.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you all.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Derek.
Up next, our finance director, Amber Jenkins.
Hello.
Okay.
Balances for your enterprise funds, September 30th, waste collection board money market checking, $1,357,000. The savings and CD remain at $258,744. Then they also have the letter of credit with Old Landfill, $64,000. Water board money market checking, $955,000, and their working capital and savings is $874,000. Sanitary board money market and checking, $989,000, working capital, $459,000. Stormwater fund, $229,000. I'll report on the CAC on this round. The open house, I want to remind everybody, is Saturday. This Saturday, the general public's welcome to visit and tour the building from 11 to 2. And then there'll be some private invitations that night, and of course, all of council's welcome to attend that. The Chamber of Commerce and BCT Murder Mystery Dinner was held in the CAC main hall last weekend. The city facilitated the whistle stop that served the beer and wine during the event. That was one of the things approved by council, and everything went really well there. We didn't have any issues. There was over 60 guests for each of the 2 nights. The installation of the telescopic seating is completed, and it looks really, really good. The building's been utilized quite a bit lately. Rehearsals for the mystery play and for the Christmas story is almost every evening in there. Then also the community band, Buckhannon Community Band, has been using the upper balcony once a week for their rehearsals and play. The art gallery will have a new monster exhibit that will start on the 20th, Friday the 20th at 4 o'clock, and then they'll have that each weekend until I think it was September the 17th, I think it was. Just in your bills to be approved, the outside entities that we wrote checks for, these were approved through council after they were looked at through the revenue review. Art 26201, contribution to the management of the gallery, $6,000. Then Main Street Gallery, the artistry on Main Street, contribution for art classes, $6,000. Bethesda, $53,000 for engineering fees. EC Fleet, and this was for fire truck services, more than one fire truck, I think 2 or 3, looks like. $5,180. Benjamin Arisman, mowing of the city lots, $3,330. And then Mountain State Electric generator construction of steel platform at the public safety complex, $74,730. And then just a note, JB left, but he got some quotes on Connex boxes for the training facility out of the Medlick Road, and those are going to exceed our bidding, our threshold for bidding. So we're going to have to advertise that to bid out, and then you will be presented with approval when we get those bids back in. But we're going to go ahead and put that in the paper so we can get that started. That's.
I want to do a little shout out to that, to the Buckhannon Community Band. They've been attracting a lot of participation in it. And one evening I was at C.J. Maggie's, and a father and son, I won't throw off their names, but a father and son came in. And I said, what are you boys up to? And they said, we just got out of band practice. And they were having the best time. They came in for ice cream, after band practice. But, they were having the best time. They said, this is a great thing, something we can do together. So that's what it's about, getting the community. You don't have to be, you can be 8 or 80. And, come join the band.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great thing.
How many members are in the band or project?
The Buckhannon Community Band,
Yeah.
I looked up there was, I don't know, 20
Great.
people up there, I'd say, that night that I was there.
Now, they do it every,
Once a week usually. I think it was, the week I was there, it might have been a Wednesday, I'm not sure, Tuesday or Wednesday.
Can people go in and
B.J.
listen to
Hoffman
them?
is.
Pardon?
Can people go in and listen to them?
No, I don't think yet.
They're practicing.
They're practicing.
BJ is going to come to a council meeting in November to give us an update, and he shared with the Colonial Arts Center board their plan, but he's going to come to council and just share what they're working on, what they're about, and answer questions.
So, yeah.
So Amby, on the engine repairs, 5180, is that a budgeted item for out of their budget, or is this coming
That's
out
fire
of general fund?
Well, general fund has the, fire department budget in it, and yes, they budget for maintenance.
Maintenance.
And it's the service, the engine 1101 and 1102 and truck 11. So there's 3 fire trucks that they're servicing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Amby, just a footnote on the almost $75,000 on the generator. That's all covered by grant stuff.
It's a grant.
So it's a great improvement for our public safety complex, but it really didn't cost us much of anything except.
But yeah, the grants were for the sewer plant, water plant, and public safety complex, a critical infrastructure that will continue to run when the electric goes out.
And Jay Holland has done a great job with that, because that as we know, every single water board and sanitary board meeting on the generators, he's had to stay on top of that because they keep getting delayed, and the public safety complex got delayed forever. And so Jay really has done a great job in keeping up with all of that and making sure that that those are deliverables for us. So
Yeah, very well said, Rod.
all right, thanks, Amby. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Abby.
Up next, Police Chief Matt Gregory. We're rolling right along.
Here we are. Yeah.
Wink, wink. Nod, nod.
Just a few updates tonight. As we continue with our training efforts with the police department, we will host a halls of arrest, search, and seizure class at the public safety training room. This will take place next week. It's a 3-day class that will occur from October 25th to the 27th. As Halloween comes upon us, we will continue with a variety of community programs, starting with our Halloween safety program that's long been a staple in our elementary schools and preschools throughout the city. This will occur all throughout the week next week, culminating with our Trunk or Treat event, which we partner with the fire department, other public safety agencies, as well as community organizations, City Hall. That will take place in the public safety parking lot on Monday, October 30th. And then finally, the police department continues to work with a wide variety of different community organizations, emergency organizations, as we, and these workshops have been occurring throughout the year. Our most recent one was just today, as we review and update the county emergency operations plan. So we've been providing input on that. And Mayor, that's all I have for my report, unless there's questions.
Any questions for Chief Gregory?
Any more information on the fallen police chief from back in 1920?
So I think that as far as the research into the newspaper articles, I believe that I have a sufficient enough information to call that complete. I have a really sound understanding of what happened before, during, and after. So I've been working with our college volunteers to write the narrative, or the summary narrative of the stories, and we have a pretty good draft going. It's something that we would hope to utilize for the signage that would mirror what we have for WebGrub down at the Blue Wall. And I have been in contact with a family member, continuing that contact. We are looking, really the icing on the cake, if you will be to find a picture of Chief Mertens, and that's what we're currently looking for at this time.
Terrific, guys.
Yeah, but it progresses well.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Record.
Sure, they're back here, these are good.
All right, we are joined up on the screen by our city attorney, Mr. Tom O'Neill, who has a few updates for us that we'll discuss in executive session, but he does have an update for us for our general session. So, good evening, Tom.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of council. It's great to be with you this evening. I'll try to keep up the pace that has been set by my colleagues. Like the mayor said, most of what I've been working on is are matters for executive session. But with respect to the Wesleyan property exchange, we've had some advancement of that issue, and I want to report on that. Wesleyan has responded to our inquiry and has confirmed what we really expected would happen. That is that they will convey to the city all of the properties that abut the Buckhannon River riverfront. They will not convey all of the parcels where the practice fields are, but only the trail itself and a maintenance corridor that I don't think we've exactly settled on it yet, but I'll work with Jerry. I think we had talked about something in the order of 10 to 12 feet. That's total width for a maintenance corridor in addition to the trail itself, and to ensure that we pick up any benches. I'm not sure if there are any benches that are in the area near those practice fields, but the issue that I'd like a little bit of guidance from the council on this evening in particular has to do with the restroom building that's down near the baseball field. The college has indicated they are willing to convey that to the city, but they would like to have a discussion about maintenance responsibilities and confirming when that restroom will be open for the use of anybody that's either using the baseball field or the trail. And I think maybe the best way to approach that is to consult with Jerry and to put a proposal together for the council to approve at probably its next meeting, its first meeting in November, unless y'all would like to discuss that. Now, I have prepared the deed for the Factory Street properties to convey to Wesleyan. I've shared that with them, with Wesleyan's attorney in this matter, Davin Seaman, for their input on that, and I don't expect there to be a problem. That side is pretty straightforward. It does reserve an easement, as the council's discussed, for to facilitate connection to the river trail and the downtown area, and that covers that topic. Unless there are any questions, then I'd have the balance of my matters for the executive session.
So what's been the current maintenance issues with those bathrooms? Is it still a constant dilemma, problem?
I can't speak to that myself. I'd have to defer to Jerry.
Yeah.
It's been worse, CJ. I mean, we've had, it just hits and misses.
But that particular restroom, is it being maintained by us now anyway?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So this wouldn't change anything,
No.
other than alerting them as to when it'll be open and closed?
Right, and that could be worked out. We had consolidated, if you remember back some time ago, consolidated, those restrooms have been open 24/7. And Consolidated made the decision that we would start locking them and shutting them down with our other park facilities. And with that, we have purchased new doors to put in the restroom facility, as well as looking to purchase the smart locks for it so that it can be locked from a remote location. and then instead of having to have a park attendant every night go down and check them, it would be just a thing of remote locking them, and then when Matt's officers are making their rounds, they would just kind of check on them, make sure the doors were locked while they were down there. But that's kind of the plan right now. And as far as utilization, I think what Tom's alluding to is, they have baseball games and things that people want those restrooms open for, and we can work out something to where college can share the custodial duties if they're using it for their event, and share the code. We've always had, they've got keys, we've got keys kind of thing. So I would consider just continuing with that type of arrangement with the college, let them have access to it.
So other than the doors, everything, they're not breaking the toilets or the sinks anymore? Or?
Fingers crossed right now.
Yeah.
CJ, like I said, I can't guarantee you, the winter months are coming, and if we keep the doors locked up, I think we'll okay. But usually a lot of that happens during winter months.
When it's heated and it's cold outside?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Mr. O'Neill. We'll talk to you here in a little bit.
I'll be here.
Okay. Correspondence and information, some things in the packet. We have a thank you letter from the A&O Railroad. As Chief Gregory alluded to, we have the trunk or treat at the Public Safety Complex on the 30th from 6:30 to 8:30. Trick or treat citywide as well as countywide will be on the 31st. That's a Tuesday night, I believe, 6 p.m. to 7:30. We have the Veterans Day Parade on the 11th. That is a Saturday at 10 a.m. The City of Buckhannon's Christmas Parade will be on December 1st. That is Friday, always the first Friday in December at 6 p.m. Going on right now, I'm missing it, part of it to spend some time with you all. But I'll be over there in the morning. We have our current quarterly West Virginia Municipal League Board of Directors meeting. So we will be talking about the upcoming legislative session tomorrow morning over at Canaan Valley. And then, this is pretty cool, West Virginia has never hosted the Southern Mayors Conference. We are hosting it this year, and I was selected to be a delegate to represent West Virginia. So that is at the very beginning of November, so I'm really excited to go to that. It's up in Wheeling, which is ironic because it is the one part of West Virginia that sits above the Mason-Dixon line. But West Virginia is hosting the Southern Mayors Conference, so that will be a pretty cool thing. And then we had the proclamation for Christian Heritage Week that was proclaimed by Governor Justice that we passed through. And then we have the report of the cat and dog activity from the Upshur County Commission. Under the consent agenda, Mr. Sanders has been doing a fantastic job of getting caught up. We have approval of the minutes from 5:16, 6:15, 8:3, 9:7, and 8:17 to approve this evening, as well as the approval of our building and wiring permits and the approval of the payment of our bills. Could I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Rylands, a second by Mr. Rigger. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Like sign opposed, the motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much. We are down to strategic issues for discussion and or vote. I would ask for either Chief Gregory or Amby Jenkins to walk us through this. You'll recall during the budget time frame back in the spring, we conceptually approved the purchase of new Motorola radios, but we also reported that once that pricing quote came in, we would be revisiting it at council just so that everyone is on the same page with how much they cost. So, Chief, we'll turn it over to you to discuss the cost of the radios.
Yes, sir. As the mayor alluded to, this quote is an extension of the conversation that began back in budget sessions this past winter/spring concerning the upgrade of the mobile Motorola radios in the police fleet. The current quote is representative of 3 different radio projects all rolled up into one. The first being the mobile radio upgrade for the Motorola radios to replace the current Harris radios that are currently in the fleet. The second part of the quote is for 4 portable radios for our VIPS volunteers. This was a separate conversation that we also had as part of the budget session that was discussed under the specific VIPS line item, whereas we had planned on upgrading some of their radios as well. So this is inclusive of that as well. The one item we did not talk about actually was something that came up throughout the summer events as we responded to the various events and had conversations with some of our radio professionals and our response to these events. And that is the acquisition of wireless mics that would replace the current, as you can see, the radios that we currently have. They get into disarray, they get into disrepair, can affect radio issues. Wireless mics eliminate that issue itself. They're also a lot more versatile when it comes to our operations in the field and our various responses. And so this quote includes the acquisition of 12 wireless mics for the 12 portable radios that we issue to each of our officers. So I broke down on the quote itself, I broke down the total of each of the 3 projects. Again, the mobile radios, the VIPS portables, and the wireless mics. And the total of the quote came to just a little over $90,000.
$91,152.74.
Okay. And so this is under state contract. The West Virginia state contract has, or Motorola has the West Virginia state contract on all of these items. And I do know that in continuation of the discussions of the of this Motorola radio upgrade project, that financing was looked at. I know that was part of the AMBI's part of the budget proposal. We did converse with Motorola for financing. We were looking at a 3-year term, and they gave us a quote back on that, and I'll yield to AMBI to talk about the financing.
Okay. In the package, you'll see what they quoted for their financing. Basically, $35,000 a year. Monthly, if we go with a monthly plan, it's 12% interest, and the yearly is 16% interest. I'm positive we can get a better rate from our local banks.
No deal.
So I have, we got this late last week, so I've sent a request out to the banks to give me some rates. So if you authorize this purchase, which it's in the budget for that payment, if you kind of blanket that once we get the rates back, we can accept the lowest one to start proceeding with that. It takes quite a while for these radios to come in, and then we'll bring it back to you and let you know what the rates were.
What kind of, on CDs with the rainy day fund we have, what are we getting with that right now?
Rainy day is not in a CD. Because
What's it in?
it's just like savings right now.
And what rate
It's
is it?
very low. Maybe 0.5%, like something like that.
But how often do we pull from the rainy day fund?
Never.
Well, we haven't been pulling from it at all. That was one of the things. The other thing I've been asking the banks for is rates for all the CD rates. And I've got 2 of them back, so I did actually want to ask you if I could do that, but I don't know when you want to use the rainy day.
Was it restriction?
No, you have to make motions.
Put your rainy day fund in?
You do have to make motions to be specific on what you want your rainy day money to go to. So if you want your rainy day money to go to a purchase, you have to have that on budget revision. It's pulled out of the rainy day and put into your general fund for expense.
But I would suggest that if we can invest the rainy day fund into CDs, we could do a step ladder. That would give us a lot of opportunities.
I think that we can have that conversation, but right now I think let's talk about the radios. And AMBI has reached out to the banks to see what their financing options would be. We feel confident that they'll be much lower than 12.18%. So let's see what the quote comes back to, and then we can have a conversation at that point as to how we want to proceed.
Why can't I want to make a motion that we allow AMBI to contact the banks and then give her the authority to go ahead and do the PO or contract for the Motorola's. and then, because we're going to go with the lowest bid anyways,
And we're going to
correct?
go with the lowest interest rate. That's
The lowest interest rate, and that way we can go ahead and purchase the radios, because we're going to be on a waiting list getting them anyways, and the longer we wait, the more delay there is going to be in acquiring them.
I'll second that motion.
All right, so we have a motion by Jack, a second by Macaulay. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
It's a wordy
Like
motion.
sign of opposed, motion carries. And again, the radios were already approved. I want to make sure it's in the budget already. Whether this is not an addition to the budget. So just want to make sure that we're on the same page.
And
Okay.
do the old radios have any value? You're gonna give them to someone else? Or?
The old radios actually belong to the county. They were purchased, they were purchased from,
Thank you.
Okay, up on F2, in the back of your packet, you have the members of the Revenue and Expense Review Committee. They see this quite a bit. For the rest of council, this conversation kind of came out of our most recent Revenue and Expense Review Committee meeting, and then Mr. Sanders and Mrs. Jenkins and myself, we've looked at maybe a possible modification that the members of the Revenue and Expense Review Committee kind of signaled interest in to bring to council. And where you see on page 1, and specifically in number 5 and number 6, it's become clear that there is somewhat of an issue with our doling out of financial assistance to the nonprofit world. How it has been set up up until this point has been a reimbursement model. But what we have found is some of our nonprofits, they do not have the capital to be able to begin their project that they're asking for without receiving funds from us first. So we're asking to change it from a reimbursement model to a reporting model. And so that way they report back to us how the finances that we provide were spent, which is something we have always asked for anyway, but what we are taking out, or what we're proposing to take out, is that it no longer is written as a reimbursement clause. The other thing is that you'll notice on number 5, city funding may not exceed, instead of 50%, 100% of the projected expense of the program. So the thought process behind that would be, so just for example, Artistry on Main asked, when COVID took place, the gallery prior to was offering a lot of art classes for the community to expand the arts programming in Buckhannon and Upshur County. When COVID happened, that piece went away for obvious reasons. Also with that, it's been tough to get it back up and running because funding hasn't been there to be able to start it. Teachers need paid. Classes have materials that need to be purchased for the students to take them. Stained glass, for example, is a expensive endeavor. So instead of an issue would have been, the gallery does not have the money right now to be able to start a robust class schedule. It needs to receive the money that it requested and that was approved in the budget first before it can report back to council what it was used for. So that's kind of the thought process. And it asked for $6,000 because it believes that $6,000 is what it's going to take to get the classes up and running in a robust way. So that wouldn't have fit in the 50% percentile, but does fit in the 100 percentile. So those are our thoughts to bring to you here tonight for council. But we are, as we continue to, and we've received reports back from the barbecue bash, we've received reports back from the Strawberry Festival, we received reports back from Country Roads Transit Authority. So those entities that we do provide funding to, they do come back and give us the report of what we are being asked to help with. And some of these are one-time requests. Like, I don't know. I don't anticipate it. I don't, the way it was written when the art gallery submitted their request in, that this would be a one-time help just to get the classes up and running so they could go back to being self-sustaining. So not everything is reoccurring the way, say, Country Roads Transit seems to be. So that's the wordy, long drawn-out explanation of what we're asking for this evening, is just to change it to 100% and change it from a reimbursement model to a reporting model.
I have one comment.
Okay?
It says that the reporting will be done by the end of the current fiscal year. I think that needs to be, the reporting needs to be completed 30 days at the conclusion of the event. Because if somebody does a project in August or September, that's a long time till June 30.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd rather see 30 days. That affords more accountability to the people that are
I think it's a good idea.
benefiting from the grant from the city. And it just adds, I think, accountability and we don't forget about things, as quickly that way. And I just think 30 days at the conclusion of the event needs to be added to the document.
I think the only question I would have, Jack, would be maybe 45 days or 60 days. I think there needs to be a definite timeline rather than keep it out there for 3, 4, 5 months.
I could see 45, and the only reason I say that is because what if your event ends on, say, and then it's over 30 days before the organization might have a board meeting? Because not everybody meets the same, like, as often as we do. I could support 45, but I agree with you. Would you support 45?
Reluctantly, but I would.
Well, I would,
Here's the thing.
Jack, I'll make you feel a bit better here
Yeah.
because I've done a lot of events over the years. And I tell you, sometimes at the conclusion of an event, you need a couple of weeks to decompress and get your bills in and get things paid. It takes sometimes 30 days to really reconcile everything. Payments come in, so on and so forth. So at the conclusion of an event, that doesn't mean everything's done. The event is done. There's a lot of bookkeeping that goes on for the next month or so.
Okay, but here's where I'm going to disagree with you on that to a degree. If I've encumbered the money, then I should have invoices that I can report on where that money is going.
But you're
Are
also-
we saying they have to report after they spent the money? Or are we saying they can report once they can prove the money's been encumbered?
Again, I've actually done 100 of events, so
I know.
I can't really come back to you. You put me in a crunch if you tell me I gotta have a rock solid deadline report 30 days.
45 days is
So I
reasonable.
think 45 days is a little bit more relaxing, a little bit more reasonable.
I agree with Jack's motion, but let's do 45 days instead of
So
45.
sometimes it's not. We receive. I want you to keep in mind too. We receive a lot of requests for a variety of different things to fund. Not everything is a specific event. Some things are ongoing. Like, for example, Country Roads Transit is not an event. It is a service that we help fund annually, but the Revenue and Expense Review Committee still reviews it. They still fill out a funding request form, but like the buses ran today, the buses are going to run tomorrow, the buses are going to run in 3 months from now. So so here's what I think, just in talking about that, if it is an event, then I agree with you, the 45. But if it is not an event, like the barbecue bash is an event. It starts, it ends. The Strawberry Festival is an event. It starts, it ends. Walmsley was an event. It starts, it ends. But a service that we provide, it's ongoing. And when Laura, I think it's perfectly appropriate for Laura to come when we're working on our budget every year, because she comes each year to give us an annual report of what happened the last year when they closed out their books and what they're looking forward to the next year. So if it could be an event that has a start and end date at 45 days from the end date, we need to be reported.
All right.
All right.
Well, so just for instance, like, if we give money to the Dickens thing, that is on the weekend of December 2nd. You're talking 30 days later, you're talking about January 2nd. And so that's going to be hard to do that in that amount of time. So I agree with what you're saying, but I think 45 days is more reasonable.
Yeah.
All right, I can live with
He
45.
can live with it, he said he would.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree. I think that 45 is
Motion,
reasonable.
there was a motion, who did the motion?
Is there one?
Jack did
No,
the
I
motion.
just,
No.
no.
I think it's just
asked a
discussion.
question.
Okay.
Okay.
Ask a
I'll make
question.
a motion.
Make the motion then, Jack.
Do you, okay, so is the motion to change, to modify this to say, instead of the end of the fiscal year, 45 days post the official ending of an event?
Event, yes.
Okay.
I'll second that.
So that motion is going to include accepting the presented modifications and adding the modification of 45 days.
For a specific event.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the motion includes the
I motioned
changes,
what he
the
said.
changes we made plus
I got
the
you.
modification.
I got you covered.
So we have a motion by Jack and a second by Pam. Is that right?
I second it.
Well, I was trying to.
If she wants to do it, that's fine.
Flip a coin.
Also, when we give money like this and say we give $10,000, okay, do they have to report what they spent that money on?
Yes.
That's
I
mean, well, I want to make sure
And
that
they may not
that's
spend it all.
clarified, because I know it's happened in the past that we didn't know what the money was used.
Yes, they have,
Well, that's
so,
why.
okay, so for members who are not on the Revenue and Expense Review Committee, just very quickly, here's what happens. They fill out an outside funding request form, okay? An application, and you see it here in your packet right below the 10 points. It's a 2-pager here, and they have to provide us with their budget of the event, their budget of what like their details. Where if they request $10,000, where do they anticipate that $10,000 going? So they have to show us that in the beginning. But what this changes is that it's not they don't have to submit us receipts to be reimbursed for that $10,000. We will cut them a check for $10,000 if the Revenue and Expense Review Committee approves it and Council approves it. Revenue and Expense Review Committee is the first line of view. Then it refers it to Council, and if Council approves it, we would cut the $10,000 check. But then at the conclusion of their event, they have to come back then and say, okay, here's what we thought was going to happen. Here's what really happened. Here's where we spent that $10,000. We just have to have a report of where it went. We need to see where they anticipate it going, and then where did it go. And 9 times out of 10, that's going to be very, 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 very similar. It may be off a penny or two, but the folks that are applying for this money, for example, Jody Light. When she requested it and what she was going to spend that $10,000 on, she had the receipts to show exactly where that $10,000 went, and it was within 2 or 3% of what she anticipated it being for. So yes, they have to fill this out. The Revenue and Expense Review Committee reviews it. We look at their insurance. We look at their overall financial picture. If we need more information, we will get it, and then we refer it to Council for Council to take final action.
Okay, another thing, I don't have time to read all this, but say I come and I want to do an event. Do I have to have a certain amount of time to get that money, or is it just going to happen overnight? That's what I mean.
So what we
Is
try,
there a timeline there?
what we try to do is so if your event is in a month and you give us the paperwork, then Teresa receives it at the front. Teresa communicates with me. Then we work to get a Revenue and Expense Review Committee meeting ordered pronto. Then that way it can get on a council agenda. That's what we try to do.
So you're-
And the members of the Revenue and Expense Review Committee are very good about keeping their schedule, because and they know we've had to sometimes say, hey, we got to get together tomorrow because we got to meet the council deadline. And they're very good to meet. We do our best to try to accommodate people.
And I want to just point one other quick thing out. The fact that we're revisiting this document goes back to the original creation of it. We said it was a living document at the time.
Right.
It would be amended, modified as we go along once the Revenue Review Committee sees weaknesses and strengths and so forth, and that's what this exercise is tonight.
Right.
It's also the responsibility of the organization that is asking for some help that they have looked at all the other alternatives out there to receive some money too.
Right.
Because sometimes they have not done that.
Right.
And then that means we shouldn't give them the monies from my perspective.
So, right, yes,
So
we,
your
we,
motion's on the
we,
table.
we look for alternative funding sources as well. That's a positive thing that we like to see when they come to us too. So, the motion is on the table, the motion was by Rigger and Buckley, we'll go with that. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Likes unopposed, motion carries. Thank you all very much. That simplifies matters somewhat. Okay, for F3, we don't have our letter of conditions yet, and Stockard is actually something I want to talk to you all about in executive session. So there really is no action to take at this time. We put it on the agenda just in the event that we might receive that letter of conditions, but we have not received it yet, but we have some updates from the USDA. So, okay, we are down to council comments and announcements, and we will begin to the left here with Mrs. Buckley.
Just want to thank everybody that's come out this past weekend to support the first, hopefully yearly dinner theater down at the new CAC.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. McCauley.
I read the piece in my Buckhannon about the fall decorations, and we actually did that several years ago, 2016, 17, 18, pre-pandemic. Jerry's guys made all kinds of great stuff that went up right at the end of August, 1st of September, and so hopefully you still, I think the piece read that you still have that in storage, right?
Yeah, the fences are decked, but we want to try to expand it some and maybe give some businesses an opportunity to play, and so.
Yeah, I'd be happy to help the decoration committee.
Actually going to start a Four Seasons.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Thank you, Valley and the Four Seasons.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Rigger.
Well, we need to commend the fire department for their award and just the tremendous job they do. And I just think that's fantastic. And of course, Dixie and the flowers. And, you know, we just need to say props to everyone else, Chief and Jerry and Amby and all of our city folks. They do a tremendous job. I think Buckhannon is a shining star in the center of the state of West Virginia, and it's because of folks like this that make it happen. So that's all
I agree.
got.
I couldn't agree more, Jack. Thank you. Mr. Thomas.
Well, I echo what Jack said about the fire department and all the others that are just great. I congratulate you, Mayor, for being one of the candidates to be representing West Virginia. That's a great honor from my perspective. And I would like to volunteer to Amby that I'd be more than willing to review with her where our savings are, CDs or money markets, etc. Because we had such a fast rate of interest rates going up, you know, almost 4.5%, 5% in about 14 months. And, you know, if you go to a bank now, they'll give you a little pamphlet saying you can invest money with them with a CD at 5.25%. You know, 3 years ago, we've had zero interest rates almost for 15 years. And this is a game changer, quite frankly. And I worry about the Stockard scenario because the way the chairman of the Federal Reserve yesterday, he still wants to get the cost of living inflation down to 2%. And the comment he made, which is scary to me, is that he's going to have people out of work. That's sort of scary. We have a very low unemployment rate. Our inflation rate is settling down some, but we're going to be living in a very interesting period of time for the next X amount of years, because they're going to say rates are going to be higher longer. And that has a tremendous impact on the economy and individuals. So, but I thank you, everybody. You're all doing a great job. Keep it up.
Thanks, sir. Mr. Ryland.
To follow up a little what David said, I mean, the law changed, and even though they bailed out the banks that went under here this year, the law is bail-ins. That means your money in the banks will be taken and used to pay the bank's debts. And you may get some stock in the bank or whatever, but people don't realize the law changed. And so the reason on Friday, before the SLV or whatever that bank was, it was going to be bailed in. But people like Oprah Winfrey had $400 million in the bank, and there were calls made over the weekend, and on Monday it was bailed out against the standing law. I think the first bank that could happen before the end of this year, there's going to be a bail-in, and then there's going to be panic waves of, oh my, is my bank going to do that? And what are the ramifications?
Some of those banks mismanaged also very.
All right. Other than that, Dickens Festival, December 2nd, the day after our Christmas parade. Planning is ongoing, and there's a lot more interest than we've learned from doing the one last year. So we all look forward to that.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Sanders?
Yes, sir. I am looking forward to Saturday. You know, the Colonial Arts Center is looking fantastic. And Saturday will be the time that the public can come out from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and take a tour from top to bottom to see the new seats up in the upper lobby, to see the new retractable seats in the main hallway, and to see the classrooms downstairs, to see different sponsorships and partnerships that we have with some of our area's very generous funders. So I'll start naming them, but I will miss some. But I invite you to come out, and then that evening we'll have, as Amby announced, by invitation only reception to honor a lot of those folks that have helped with us. But I'm really proud of the Colonial Arts Center, and I want to shout out to go to Jerry Arnold and Brad Hawkins and their crews, because they have really come in at the last minute and just really put final touches on that place to shape it up, shine it up, and just really get it ready for a great grand opening. I think you're really going to be surprised, if you haven't been in that building for the last few weeks, how it looks when you walk in there this Saturday. So we invite everybody to come out between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m., take a tour. Can't wait to see all the folks that evening during the reception, and take advantage of the Colonial Arts Center. It's there, and Wilson's doing a great job. Utilize that building. Use it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Couple updates. We had a Planning Commission meeting this week, as well as Historic Landmarks Commission. The Planning Commission has asked, and I think it's a good idea, so we will work on a date for January. So just throwing this out there. They would like to have a kind of a joint session with Council and the Historic Landmarks Commission to talk about the priority of housing and available housing in our community. As you'll recall, the Planning Commission was where the Parks and Recreation board and thought and idea to revamp our parks came from. That is up and running. That's going very well. We hope to see some really good, tangible wins in the next year with the Parks and Recreation Board. So the next project that the Planning Commission would like to talk about is housing, the need for the available stock that we have, and what can our community do to be ready for, to improve what we have to offer for housing. So, and Historic Landmarks has every bit as much of a stake in that as planning and as council, because we know that we have historic districts here in the city of Buckhannon. The Central Residential Historic District takes up a large chunk of our corporation footprint. So let's think about a date in January where we could all get together and have a discussion, a town hall, if you will. We'll just talk about priorities, and we'll have some data to look at. Also, the Development Authority is working on trying to get a comprehensive housing study done for our area. One of the things that is required before we can ever receive any grant funding for any housing project is we have to have a comprehensive housing study. Ours is way out of date. We haven't had one for quite some time, so we are working on that project.
Over 20 years old.
Yeah. So let's be mindful of that coming up.
You go ahead.
And the last thing I want to point out too, I echo what all my colleagues on council have said, especially Mr. Sanders at the Colonial Theater this weekend. But in listening up here this evening, I was made aware of a snide comment that we take credit for everything. We do not. I don't know what world, we do not take credit. All I've heard tonight is that we thank people. We thank the fire department. We thank Jerry Arnold. We thank Amby Jenkins. We thank our police department. We thank my Buckhannon for covering us. We thank Rodney for being a part of here every time we have a meeting and covering it. We thank the street department. We thank everybody. We thank the citizens. We thank the volunteers. We thank the planning commission for everything that they do to make our community a better place. As I just said, the Parks and Recreation Committee is doing the work. They are citizen driven. Jerry Arnold and the street department, they are going to be there to make the ideas happen. And we will, and at that time we will recognize them. We thank them for everything they do. When we had the Wamsby celebration here, who but carried the banner out, the traveling flag, thank you, but it was our city employees, because we wanted to thank them for all the work that they do for our community. So we recognize up here that we do not make this place go. We are, this up here is merely to give everybody else the opportunity to stay out of the way, and to give everybody else the opportunity to make our community the best that it can be. So I want to thank all of you, and I want to thank all of our employees and all of our citizens, because we are a community, we are a family, and we work well together. We have a strong volunteer spirit of a lot of people that are giving of their time, their talents, their efforts, their money to make Buckhannon what it is, and it's been recognized hundreds of times. It'll continue to be recognized, and I couldn't be prouder of all the people that work hard every single day to make this community what it is. And I sincerely thank everybody who puts all the blood, sweat, and tears into our community, whether they're paid here or not. So I just wanted to put that out there, that I believe that we do a great job of pushing it out, not ever absorbing it up here. So.
And on that note, I just wanted to, once again, Jerry will scold me if I don't do this. The Colonial Arts Center opening, big credit goes to Amby Jenkins too, because she has run up and down that sidewalk 1,000 times on a moment's notice to let somebody in to follow up on something, to show me where the tape measure was so we could figure out if a sign should be on this wall or that wall. So Amby, thank you as well.
I wanted to add something also, based on what you said, Robbie, Planning Commission, and the housing study. We have an ordinance that will say you have to have your house maintained a certain way, cut the grass outside, blah, blah, blah. And there are some people, I understand a trust fund bought 9 homes in Upshur County and Buckhannon. And the renters are responsible for maintaining, but I think we need to add the landlords also, because sometimes the renters just don't pay any attention to anything. They don't care, and I can specifically name some.
Well, the details will be coming. I think Mr. Sanders, who was also at the Planning Commission meeting, and I apologize if I forgot that. So, yes, we are, the details are still yet to be worked out of this, because we're still a few months away, but the plan is to involve landlords as well, because that's we do have several, we have a lot of renters in Buckhannon. So.
But piggybacking on that, when I first got on council a number of years ago, there used to be a suggestion box in the foyer. And that's something we might want to do again.
Facebook has become that.
Okay. Okay, well, I don't read Facebook. So but, our citizens are very smart individuals. And a lot of things I work with is because of their suggestions. That's important.
All right.
That's it.
Thanks, everybody. At 8:09, I would ask that we recess, adjourn, whatever you want to call it, into executive session.
So moved.
Thank you very much. Have a great weekend. try to enjoy some fall color.